Welcome back to Race Report, everyone. Today, I want to discuss Valtteri Bottas and his situation on the F1 grid for the 2022 season. So no preamble, let's get stuck straight in. Valtteri Bottas currently drives for the Mercedes team, the current world champions, but he is out of contract with them at the end of this season. And this throws up some interesting questions like, is he going to be able to stay with them next season? Who might replace him, and where will he go? And it's the final of those questions I really want to focus in on for this video. It's been known for some time that Mercedes have a very young and talented driver in George Russell waiting in the wings, currently at Williams, who may be ready to take that final step up into a Mercedes seat. It's always been more of a question of when will he take that step rather than if. And looking at how everything's going with Red Bull now pushing Mercedes, requiring them to be faster, the new regulations coming in, and Russell's own development makes me think perhaps he's ready to make that jump to Mercedes. And of course that'll be partnering alongside Lewis Hamilton, but that does leave Valtteri Bottas out in the cold. Of course, Bottas is still a quick driver. He wouldn't be racing for Mercedes if he wasn't, but as we've seen in the past with the likes of Hülkenberg and Kvyat, being a fast driver isn't necessarily enough to guarantee you a seat. There has to be availability and opportunity for you to carry on in the sport. As we all know, it's a very competitive sport indeed. Let's take a look around the different teams and see what seats are available next season. Of course, we start with Mercedes. We know they've got a seat available. He's currently in it. But he is in that fight with George Russell. Will he be pushed out? Will he have to go somewhere else? That's the big question of this video. Red Bull currently also have a seat for next season. Now, a lot of people would probably dismiss this out of hand, but I think it's very interesting thinking about him going there, honestly. It's probably not going to happen, but think about it from Red Bull's business point of view. They're in this battle with Mercedes. By bringing Bottas over, could they gain some of that knowledge of what Mercedes have been working on? What are their plans for 2022 and beyond? Could they kind of siphon that knowledge out of Bottas? It's an interesting thought. Probably won't happen. I mean, they've got Perez, they've got Gasly, they've got Albon, they've got a whole raft of drivers that they could pick from. So I doubt he'd go to Red Bull, but from that business mentality point of view, I kind of like it actually. There's no seats at McLaren, they're locked in. Aston Martin do have a seat available. It is currently Lance Stroll's seat, and considering his dad owns the team and he's actually been doing alright for the team as well, I think that will continue to be his, honestly. So I don't think there's any real room there. Alpine are all locked up, so are Ferrari. AlphaTauri are yet to comment on their driver lineup, so there's 2 empty seats there. However, we have heard Franz Tost say he can't see any other direction other than keeping his 2 drivers, Gasly and Tsunoda, right now. Not only that, but that being the Red Bull Junior team, I doubt Bottas would fit into that situation at all. A similar situation at Alfa Romeo, where they have no confirmed drivers next year. Currently, it's obviously Kimi and Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi's doing all right actually this season. You know, he's been a bit flaky in my books previously, but he's doing all right. Kimi is just Kimi. He keeps on going. He will never stop. But is it time for him to stop? Is it time for them to move on? It is said that Ferrari have maybe one of those seats available, and then Sauber control the other seat. So maybe there is a seat there for Bottas, but it really depends on if they want to continue with Kimi and they want to keep that continuity there at the team. Not only that, but Alpha have been going in the wrong direction on the grid for the past couple of years. So does Bottas really want to join an outfit that's doing that? Haas have confirmed their driver lineup of Schumacher and Mazepin for next season, so there's no seats there. So that leaves our final team, Williams. Currently, they're completely open as well. Obviously, their drivers are George Russell, Nicholas Latifi. George Russell, if he obviously goes to Mercedes, that leaves an opening there. Latifi is rumoured to be staying on. Obviously, he's doing alright for the team, scored some points this season. He's likely to be kept on. But that will leave that 1 seat available if Russell does go to Mercedes, like we've been suggesting this time. Typically, in the recent past, Williams have relied on drivers who are paid for, such as Russell, by Mercedes, or who are paying, like Latifi with his sponsorships. But they have come out and said, since the purchase of the company, they are open to having pay for drivers. So they've actually got money to pay a driver. Now this could be quite attractive for Bottas, because it is a team that is moving forward on the grid right now. It's a bit of a project, but it is moving forwards. Plus it's his old team where he got his start, and there's still a bit of a Mercedes connection there, you know, with the engine partnership and stuff like that. So it could be very attractive for him. And of course, it's very attractive for Williams, getting a race winner in their car, bringing that experience from the Mercedes team, helping them develop and keeping them pushing forward on that grid. But really, just to recap, if Bottas were to leave Mercedes and Russell to replace him, we only really have two teams that could theoretically sit Bottas. One being Alfa Romeo and the other being Williams itself. That just shows the competitiveness in F1 right now, with teams locking down longer term drivers. And of course, it's not out of feasibility that Bottas wouldn't get a drive at all. What if Williams chose to sign Hülkenberg or Kvyat instead, who have been out of the sport but want to come back in still? Or maybe Albon, who spent a year out. Not saying those guys are necessarily faster than Bottas, but they're probably going to be a little cheaper because they're not race winners coming from the champions. So it's an interesting dynamic there. My personal feeling on it is time for Mercedes to pull that trigger on Russell, bring him across to the main team, to partner Lewis Hamilton for these new regulations in 2022. And I would love to see Bottas actually go back to Williams. I think it would be very nice for him to be a number one driver again, you know, less pressure on his shoulders. As we know, he's been so unlucky that all this pressure on him is just amounting to all this bad luck. I'd love to see him, you know, further back on the grid, a bit less pressure on him, number one driver status, and working on that project of bringing Williams back to the front of the grid. I think that'll be good for him. I think that'll be good for Williams. But will it happen? There's only one way to find out. What do you guys think? Where do you think Bottas will end up? Do you think he'll be staying at Mercedes? Do you think he'll end up at Williams like I do? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching that video. I really do appreciate the support. If you want to see more from me, I'm going to put a couple of extra videos on the left-hand side of the screen here for you. Just go ahead and click on one of those. On the right-hand side of the screen, I'm going to put a subscribe button. If you want to support me and support the channel, I very much appreciate it. Thank you.